A taijitu, also called monad, is a symbol or diagram in Chinese philosophy representing taiji, representing both its monist and its dualist aspects. Such a diagram was first introduced by Song Dynasty Zhou Dunyi in his The Taijitu Shuo. The modern Daoist canon, compiled during the Ming era, has at least half a dozen variants of such taijitu. The two most similar are the Taiji Primal Heaven and the wuji diagrams, both of which have been extensively studied during the Qing period for their possible connection with Zhou Dunyi's taijitu. Ming period author Lai Zhide simplified the taijitu to a design of two interlocking spirals. In the Ming era, the combination of the two interlocking spirals of the taijitu with two black and white dots superimposed on them became identified with the He-Tu, or Yellow River diagram. It is this version that has been widely popularized as the yin-yang symbol in the West since the 1960s. The contemporary Chinese term for the modern symbol is two-part Taiji diagram. Unicode features the yin-yang symbol in the miscellaneous symbols block at code point U+262F. The related double body symbol is included at U+0FCA in the Tibetan block. Ornamental patterns with visual similarity to the yin-yang symbol are found in archaeological artifacts of European prehistory. Such designs are sometimes descriptively dubbed yin-yang symbols in archaeological literature by modern scholars. Structure: the taijitu consists of 5 parts. Strictly speaking, the yin and yang symbol, itself popularly called taijitu, represents the second of these 5 parts of the diagram. At the top, an empty circle depicts the absolute. A second circle represents the taiji as harboring dualism, yin and yang, represented by filling the circle in a black and white pattern. In some diagrams, there is a smaller empty circle at the center of this, representing emptiness as the foundation of duality. Below this second circle is a 5-part diagram representing the 5 agents, representing a further stage in the differentiation of unity into multiplicity. The 5 agents are connected by lines indicating the proper sequence: wood, fire, earth, metal, water. The circle below the 5 agents represents the conjunction of heaven and earth, which in turn gives rise to the 10,000 things. This stage is also represented by the 8 trigrams. The final circle represents the state of multiplicity. Glossed: the 10,000 things are born by transformation. History: the term taijitu in modern Chinese is commonly used to mean the simple, divided circle form, but it may refer to any of several schematic diagrams that contain at least one circle with an inner pattern of symmetry representing yin and yang. Song era: while the concept of yin and yang dates to Chinese antiquity, the interest in diagrams is an intellectual fashion of Neo-Confucianism during the Song period, and it declined again in the Ming period. By the 16th century, the original description of a taijitu is due to Song-era philosopher Zhou Dunyi, author of the Taijitu Shuo, explanation of the diagram of the Supreme Ultimate, which became the cornerstone of Neo-Confucianist cosmology. His brief text synthesized aspects of Chinese Buddhism and Taoism with metaphysical discussions in the Yijing. Zhou's key terms wuji and taiji appear in the opening line, which Adler notes could also be translated the supreme polarity that is non-polar. Non-polar and yet supreme polarity. The supreme polarity in activity generates yang, yet at the limit of activity it is still. In stillness it generates yin, yet at the limit of stillness it is also active. Activity and stillness alternate, each is the basis of the other. In distinguishing yin and yang, the two modes are thereby established. The alternation and combination of yang and yin generate water, fire, wood, metal, and earth. With these five qi harmoniously arranged, the four seasons proceed through them. The five phases are simply yin and yang. Yin and yang are simply the supreme polarity. The supreme polarity is fundamentally non-polar. In the generation of the five phases, each one has its nature. Instead of usual Taiji translations, supreme ultimate, or supreme pole, Adler uses supreme polarity, because Joshi describes it as the alternating principle of yin and yang, and insists that Taiji is not a thing. Thus, for both Zhou and Zhu, Taiji is the yin-yang principle of bipolarity, which is the most fundamental ordering principle, the cosmic first principle. Wuji as non-polar follows from this. Since the 12th century, there has been a vigorous discussion in Chinese philosophy regarding the ultimate origin of Zhou Dunyi's diagram. Joshi insists that Zhou Dunyi had composed the diagram himself, against the prevailing view that he had received it from Daoist sources. Joshi could not accept a Daoist origin of the design, because it would have undermined the claim of uniqueness attached to the Neo-Confucian concept of Dao. Ming era. While Zhou Dunyi popularized the circular diagram, the introduction of swirling patterns first appears in the Ming period. Zhao Huiqian was the first to introduce the swirling variant of the taijitu in his Liushu Benyi. The diagram is combined with the 8 trigrams and called the river chart, spontaneously generated by heaven and earth. By the end of the Ming period, this diagram had become a widespread representation of Chinese cosmology. Lai Zhide's design is similar to the Gakyul symbols of Tibetan Buddhism, but while the Tibetan designs have 3 or 4 swirls, Lai Zhide's taijitu has 2 swirls, terminating in a central circle. Modern yin-yang symbol. The Ming-era design of the taijitu of 2 interlocking spirals has been reported as yin-yang symbol in the first half of the 20th century. The flag of South Korea, originally introduced as the flag of Joseon-era Korea in 1882, shows this symbol in red and blue. This was a modernization of the older form of the batkida used as the Joseon royal standard. Since the 1960s, yin-yang symbol is most widely applied to the He-2 symbol, which combines the 2 interlocking spirals with 2 dots. In the standard form of the contemporary yin-yang symbol, one draws on the diameter of a circle 2 non-overlapping circles, each of which has a diameter equal to the radius of the outer circle. One keeps the line that forms an S, and one erases or obscures the other line. The design is also described pair of fishes nesting head to tail against each other. The modern symbol has also been widely used in martial arts, particularly Tai Chi Chuan and Jeet Kune Do, since the 1970s. In this context, it is generally used to represent the interplay between hard and soft techniques. The dots in the modern yin-yang symbol have been given the additional interpretation of intense interaction between the complementary principles. Comparison with prehistoric symbols. As discussed above, a modern form of the yin-yang symbol is by no means representative of graphical representations of taijitu prior to the 19th century, but it has become widely recognizable, and the term is also used for unrelated designs dividing a circle by an S shape. Such unrelated designs are widespread, and are found, for example, in artifacts of the European Neolithic. Such similarities have notably been used to illustrate a supposed similarity of Triple U culture and the culture of ancient China in the Ukraine Pavilion at the Expo 2010 in Shanghai, China. The interlocking comma design is also found in artifacts of the European Iron Age, popularly dubbed Celtic yin-yang. While the design appears to become a standard ornamental motif in the Latin culture by the 3rd century BC, found on a wide variety of artifacts, it is not clear what symbolic value, if any, was attached to it. Unlike the classic Taoist symbol, the Celtic yin-yang worlds consistently lack the element of mutual penetration, and the two halves are not always portrayed in different colors. Comparable designs are also found in Etruscan art,